For a decade, the 212 division crowned just one king, Flex Lewis, the 5'5" powerhouse who won 7 Olympia titles by carving himself to the bone, dropping over 45 pounds every prep, then ballooning back to 260 pounds in the off-season just to keep up. The official story was that the 212 class gave shorter athletes a fair shot. But what if it became a golden cage, engineered to hold champions in place while the real power and payday waited elsewhere? Flex Lewis versus Open, the division that divided bodybuilding, isn't just a battle of muscle, but a deep dive into the business, politics, and backroom deals that changed the sport forever. So what forced its greatest champion to walk away? In 2008, the IFBB introduced a new weight class, the 202 division. The goal was simple: give shorter, lighter athletes a real shot at professional titles in a sport where the open class had become a showcase for giants. The original cap, set at 202 pounds, aimed to level the playing field for men under about 5'7". But as more competitors pushed the limits, the IFBB raised the ceiling to 212 pounds in 2012, hoping to attract a deeper field while keeping the division distinct from the mass monsters dominating the open. The official rulebook spelled out the numbers, but the reasoning ran deeper. For years, open placings skewed toward the tallest and widest frames, athletes routinely stepping on stage at 260, even 280 pounds. In comparison, a 5'5" bodybuilder maxed out at 212 would always appear smaller, no matter the quality of their muscle. The 212 cap wasn't just a number, it was a structural barrier, a way to guarantee that size alone wouldn't decide the outcome. Yet the same rules that opened doors also set hard boundaries. Once a champion hit the 212 limit, there was nowhere left to grow, literally or figuratively. Any attempt to bulk up for the open meant sacrificing years of carefully honed proportion, risking both legacy and health. The division's blueprint was clear: opportunity for the overlooked, but a ceiling that could feel as much like a cage as a stage. 7 Olympia titles in a row. That's the headline, but the real story runs deeper, etched into every pound gained and every scar stitched shut. During his reign from 2012 to 2018, Flex Lewis built a physique that seemed to defy the limits of a 5'5" frame. In the off-season, he routinely tipped the scale above 255 pounds, with his heaviest documented phase reaching just over 260. Each prep meant carving away nearly 50 pounds, stripping down to the 212-pound class limit. That cycle, bulking, cutting, repeating, was more than a test of discipline. It was a calculated gamble with his own body. The cost was high. 2 hernia surgeries, each one a reminder that muscle doesn't always protect what's underneath. Flex himself has spoken of the toll: soft tissue injuries, persistent pain, and the constant threat of something tearing loose. Every contest meant pushing his body through weeks of dehydration and depletion, all to present a look that lasted just minutes under the lights. The price for perfection was paid in operating rooms and rehab clinics, not just in the gym. Even at his best, the demands of the division required more than muscle. Maintaining razor-sharp conditioning while carrying maximum mass left little margin for error. One misstep, one injury could end a season or a career. For Flex, the trophies and applause came with a ledger of physical debts. The question was never just how much he could win, but how much more his body could take. A single contract could change the calculus overnight. For most pros, a 7th place finish at the Mr. Olympia means a $20,000 check. Before taxes, before travel, before a penny goes to coaches or prep. Yet for Flex Lewis, the real windfall came from the anticipation, not the outcome. Industry insiders and former sponsors confirm that during his most publicized Road to the Open phase, his Redcon 1 deal was rumored to exceed $500,000 per year, not for stepping on stage, but for staying in the conversation. No official contract details have surfaced, but the timing is hard to ignore. Every new hint about an open debut coincided with a renegotiation or a new sponsor, and his social engagement numbers spiked with every ambiguous post. Guest posing, once a side hustle for retired champions, became a main event. Promoters paid premiums for the mere chance to bill Flex as a possible open contender. Reports from event organizers and coaches suggest his appearance fees doubled after the open rumors took hold, often outpacing what most active open finalists could command. For a single weekend, he could earn more than the prize for placing top 10 at the Olympia. The math left little doubt. Prize money was a fraction of the total, and sponsors wanted the story as much as the physique. Flex's value was measured in reach, not ribbons. For a champion who learned to monetize suspense, ambiguity paid better than certainty. The business of bodybuilding had become a game of leverage, one Flex played with precision. Behind the curtain, the real contest wasn't fought with dumbbells or diets, but with whispered deals and private votes. In May 2019, the IFBB's leadership gathered at the Pittsburgh Pro, ostensibly a celebration of the sport, but also the site of closed-door negotiations done with Flex Lewis and his team. Eyewitnesses recall a tense roundtable, weight cap adjustments on the table, talk of a special Open Olympia invite, and the possibility of appearance fees that rivaled the sport's biggest names. No official records came out of that meeting, but the leaks spread quickly. Some open competitors grumbled that a shortcut for Flex would cheapen their own grind, while others saw it as a natural evolution for a champion who'd already outgrown his division. By summer, Olympia committee emails revealed a split. Some organizers pushed for a special invite, citing Flex's box office appeal and the buzz he brought to every lineup. Others warned that bending the rules for one star could unravel the very structure that kept the divisions meaningful. In the end, no special invitation arrived for 2020. Flex remained a VIP, a perennial headline in press releases, but never a confirmed contender. The rules stayed rigid on paper, but everyone knew the real power lay in the gray areas, where influence, not just muscle, shaped the future of the sport. For every champion on stage, a dozen more moved pieces in the background, ensuring that hype and hierarchy stayed tightly intertwined. For every headline about a 212 star breaking into the Open, the numbers tell a different story. David Henry, once a 202 Olympia champion, never cracked the Open's top 5 despite multiple tries. Kevin English, a 3-time 202 winner, finished outside the top 10 when he made the leap. Sean Clarita at 5'2" defied expectations by winning the 2021 Legion Sports Open, but even that win came at a smaller show, not the Olympia. Derek Lunsford stands alone. After winning the 212 Olympia in 2021, he placed second at the Open Olympia in 2022, then took the title outright in 2023. Yet Lunsford is the outlier. Scorecards from the past decade show the average Open finalist stands between 5'9" and 6 feet, with only a handful of shorter athletes making the final callouts. For most, the jump from 212 to Open means trading dominance for obscurity. By 2022, the 212 division faced a new kind of drought. Less in numbers, more in star power. While official Olympia rosters still listed around 20 competitors, the buzz had faded. Flex Lewis, once the division's anchor, announced his retirement that May. His focus shifted to the Dragon's Lair, a gym franchise that saw revenue jump by an estimated 30% over 4 years, fueled by his ambassador status and relentless seminar schedule. The incentive structure was clear. The real money followed visibility, not victories. As Flex stepped back, up-and-coming pros weighed their options, chasing uncertain Open dreams or pivoting to business, just as the division's most decorated champion had done. The cost of staying was now measured in opportunity, not just muscle. In just 4 years after Flex Lewis's 7th 212 Olympia title, division participation dropped by 30%, as confirmed by official IFBB entry records. The evidence shows that his dominance, combined with financial incentives and strategic ambiguity over an Open move, reshaped the landscape of professional bodybuilding. Public documents detail the 2018 announcement, the Redcon 1 sponsorship, and the absence of a special invite. But internal deliberations from the 2019 Pittsburgh Pro meeting remain undisclosed. While Derek Lunsford's 2022 Open success stands out, most 212 athletes faced limited opportunities as the average Open finalist measures between 5 feet 9 inches and 6 feet. Flex's retirement in May 22 and focus on Dragon's Lair Gym mark a shift echoed across the division. What remains unresolved is whether the system will adapt or continue the trend. The facts are clear. The 212 division, once a springboard, became a ceiling, and the business of bodybuilding still shapes who rises and who steps aside.